Everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say less.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.
Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz, and along with me is the man with the bars, the man with the tries, the one with the broad chest, the one, the only, Rene Borba. Johnny.
Hey, what's going on?
My boy's looking fresh.
Oh yeah. Chilling out.
I'm just not scheduled until Tuesday, but your boy's been going through. It's been a hat season for me these last several weeks. But JB, as we welcome the listeners to the show, I appreciate you guys rocking with us this morning. Don't forget to use the line 575-808-9307, as you can see right here below me. 575-808-9307. Give us your best take, or also give us your guaranteed winner for the weekend as the NFL Week 16 kicks off, especially with tonight's game. You got the Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks, a battle for the division and for the number one seed. JB, are we excited about tonight's game? It's been a while since we had this kind of matchup on Thursday Night Football.
I think when you look at the Super Bowl bubble right now, the teams that are in it, I think the first 3 or 4 teams that stand out is obviously the Rams. I think the Seahawks are in that bubble too because I think they can go toe-to-toe with the Rams. We just need little bit of question with Sam Darnold, but when it comes to an explosive team, a good defense, well-coached team, Seattle's another team that you're bringing up in these Super Bowl conversations for sure in the NFC side. So I think this game is going to be huge. It's going to be similar to last year's game with the Lions and the Vikings at the end of the season. We'll see if Sam Darnold kind of hits 12 o'clock and turns into a pumpkin again, or if he's going to overcome what he did last year, put a pretty sour taste in Vikings fans. So we'll see if he's gotten better, if he's matured. He's been in a little bit of a slump. There's been some turnovers lately, not a lot of big plays, not a lot of touchdowns, but they've still been squeaking by wins. So I think they need to correct that a little bit to make a deep run into the playoffs. But I think this is going to be a very tall tale sign right here. If the Rams can win this game, I think they lock up that first seed and they win the division. So it's a big game. It's a big game for both teams. It's the first Thursday night game with both teams having 11 wins by week 16. So
first time ever.
Yeah, first time ever.
Yeah, first time ever. That game should be fun tonight. But before we get to tonight's game, JB, I just want to react to the news that was given yesterday as we got off the show slowly but surely. Mike McDaniels had an interview. Tua Tagovailoa will be the third string quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, and Quinn Ewers, former Texas Longhorn quarterback, will be getting the start. What was your initial reaction when we saw that news come out?
I think I think Mike McDaniel kind of brought the peak out of Tua. We know what he's kind of limited in. He's not the most mobile quarterback. He's kind of like a timing guy, get the ball out quick. He doesn't have the strongest arm. I think Mike McDaniel kind of brought out the full potential of Tua. And it's kind of it's peaked. It's not going anywhere else. You draft a guy in Quinn Ewers who was, he had some ups and downs last year in Texas. I think you just want to see what you got these last 3 games of the year. You guys are out. Tua, sure. His future is up in the air for sure. Is he going to come back as a Dolphin? Is Mike McDaniel going to come back as a Dolphin? I don't know. What we do know is that they drafted a guy in Quinn Ewers who did have some potential coming out of the draft, and I think they want to see what they got. They want to see what they got.
Yeah, definitely.
To see if they want to move on. I don't know if they want to hold on to his contract. So I don't know. It's one of those things where
contract. They were comparing that contract to Russell Wilson with the Denver Broncos yesterday.
I don't know.
And from what I found out is the Denver Broncos are still paying money to Russell Wilson, which is kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts considering that was 3 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, but I saw a couple little fillers being thrown out on X about the possibility of maybe a quarterback swap, maybe just sending Tua to a new place in exchange for a decent quarterback or a similar quarterback, and that quarterback being Kyler Murray. I actually like that fit. This kind of reminds me of the conversation that's going on in basketball right now with John Morant, and they're like maybe swapping places with the Atlanta star Trae Young. Just a lateral switch to give him a new place to work with. I think that would work to the benefit of the Miami Dolphins. Both have heavy contracts. Both quarterbacks got paid, so it feels like it would be. I think it would benefit both teams if they made that swap. I think probably the Dolphins would get the lesser end of that. I think Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than Tua, but I think you're right. Mike McDaniel's definitely peaked Tua, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. Like we're in the age of the NFL where a lot of people or a lot of quarterbacks are going to fool organizations into dishing out a ton of money because that's just the state of the NFL that we're in right now. Like where some quarterbacks are being overpaid. I mean,
Yep.
and being paid too soon because teams are afraid that they let some of these guys walk because obviously, as you can tell, great quarterbacks don't just grow on trees, as they say, right? So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting dynamic for the Miami Dolphins on how they decide to work with this team in the offseason. I mean, like you could make the argument that Miami found some type of life here at the back end of the season, so maybe that bought Mike McDaniel's another year. But that was a bad loss this weekend. It was a bad loss, and not only bad, but it felt like that team kind of gave up. It feels like they gave up, and
Yeah. I think
never
they ran out of juice. Ran out of juice for
juice,
sure after winning
not
5
giving
in a
up,
row.
just fatigue. Okay, so I like that perspective, Jay, because I was thinking like, hey, this team tapped out, and normally whenever a team taps out, that's kind of them giving up on their coach's messaging and just giving up on the coach in general. But you bringing that up, that's fair to say. A 5-game winning streak, fatigue kind of kicked in. They just got beat by a better team who is a playoff team at that. So I'm with you on that one. But it was on national television. You would think there'd be a little bit more of an effort. But good luck to the Miami Dolphins. It don't look good, right? It's fair to say it don't look good for the Miami Dolphins in the future. It's not one of those situations like the Chicago Bears where it feels like, all right, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel. For the Miami Dolphins, it's like, damn, we got to start over. We got to start over. Like, whenever I think of myself being a Cowboys fan and I see stuff like this, I'm just like, yo, like there's worse. There is worse situations out there than the Dallas Cowboys. So good luck to you, Dolphins fans. Grind it out. Loyalty, 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 loyalty. JB, this is the Week 16 slate. What game pops out to you the most here?
Man, obviously you got a big game tonight, Thursday night game.
Yeah, buddy.
Another game that kind of pops out to me. There's a couple, but the Packers and the Bears. That's a huge game when it comes to seeding. Who can possibly take over the 2 seed, host a home playoff game or two at that point. So that's a big game. We're gonna see if Caleb Williams can overcome what he wasn't able to do the last 2 weeks ago when they couldn't meet. I think this game is close. For some reason, I think the Packers just still win unless Jordan Love just feels like he has to do a lot. For some reason, if the Bears start fast and everything's kind of clicking, I think the Packers should win this game. I think they should. It's going to depend, too. You don't know how they're going to respond with a guy like Michael Parsons going down. How's the morale? We were Super Bowl, contenders. Now we're coming out to our first game, man. We don't got this guy. Or is it next man up? Next man up mentality. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out. But that's a big game, of course, big swing game. Whoever wins or loses that one is going to fall into the wild card. And then, of course, I'm looking at Denver and Jacksonville. Big game too.
Yep.
Denver wants to hold on to that 1 seed for sure. But Jacksonville, sneaky, quiet, good story. Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
I don't think we've seen this type of Trevor Lawrence since that 28-0 comeback against Justin Herbert in the playoffs, 3 years ago or something like that. So this is a big game for both teams. Jacksonville, they're under the radar a little bit. And sneaky, like I said, Trevor Lawrence is playing good. The best stretch that he's played in probably his career, to be honest. And then, of course, you got the Steelers and the Lions. both teams, they got to fight. They got to win, right? Ravens are
Yeah,
right on the Steelers,
one game
behind.
ahead
So,
or one
you
game
know,
behind.
yep. And Lions, they're trying to get a wild card spot. And man, I think the Lions do win that game, but yeah, they got to win out. Lions definitely got to win out. There's one of those teams that just have to win out where I think they could get a wild card spot. But Steelers, I don't know. Of course, you want to win the division and make the playoffs because I think that's your only way in the AFC North. But I think this game you can afford to lose. I'm not saying that they're obviously preparing to lose, but a lot of playoff implications with that game for sure. And then you got the Patriots and the Ravens. I mean, Ravens are fighting for the life, so this is a must win for the Ravens. I don't think they get it done though. I don't think this Ravens team has beaten one good team all year. So I don't think
No,
they
it
get it
seems
done.
that they fold. Yeah, it seems like they fold whenever a big team is on the other side of them. What is going on with Lamar Jackson? It's kind of crazy what's going on over there in Baltimore. But JB, go back to the Jaguars Broncos game. You've been mentioning this since this trade happened. Jacoby Myers going to Jacksonville. What a difference he's made for them. Let me read you this. Trevor Lawrence leads all qualified quarterbacks with 8.4 passing yards per attempt since Jacoby Myers made his Jaguars debut in Week 10. Lawrence has the second most touchdown passes, 14, and the third highest passer rating, 102.4 among qualified quarterbacks in that span. I mean, you talk about completely flipping a team on its head. Jacoby Myers may be one of the greatest additions to a team this year in the NFL Football League. I mean, it's really spiced up that Jacksonville Jaguars offense. What what have you seen from the Jacksonville Jaguars outside of Jacoby that's
Man,
got you locked in?
it's just the offensive game plan. Travis Etienne, he's had a really good year, bounce back year, you could say. Um, they got weapons. Offensively, they got weapons. Trevor Lawrence has had more success throwing the ball. I think they've improved their offensive line. And I mean, what's making it all come together, I think, is Liam Cohen with Trevor Lawrence and
Yes.
that development of him for sure. And it's crazy. I mean, defense is playing. It's a respectable defense. It's not one of the top defenses that we've been talking about lately, but it's a defense that can get after the quarterback, get some stops, decent secondary play. They got a couple holes, but I think offensively they're definitely clicking. Thomas, they're finding him on big plays again. That was a thing earlier this year where we're like, what the heck is going on with this connection? And so I think they got a lot of things rolling in their favor.
And they're finally
It,
using ETN more than just a running back. They're using him up
oh
in the
yeah,
passing game. So it's one of the most elite running back. I mean, I've been feeling the benefits of ETN kind of cooking. He's on my fantasy squad, and this week we'll get the start. Last week put up a hell of a game there in the passing game. Man,
yep,
I'm pumped about this Jaguars. What's cool is we've been just low key kind of talking about the Jaguars as they've been winning these, and then slowly just seeing them kind of come up to what we think they could possibly be. But this is a massive challenge against the Broncos. This is where Trevor Lawrence can really make his stamp on whether or not we think he's among the elite quarterbacks. Because we got to remember at the start of the season, I mean, there was a lot of conversations about Trevor Lawrence regressing. Is this even the right guy? Do the Jaguars need to move on from him? This is a prove it year for him. And as of this, I mean, as of now, as of week 16, as of late, Trevor Lawrence has been proven that he is among the elites, but this is the game that matters the most. You can put yourself in great position going into the playoffs. And not only that, man, I mean, that number one seed may be the most important thing right now on both sides, the NFC and the AFC, heading into week 16. So let's go over a couple playoff scenarios from the weekend, JB. I got them up for you here. Hopefully we can see them. It is a little small, but the Broncos. I mean, let's start off with the NFC. The Rams have already clinched their playoff berths in at 11-3, so they've made it. And then Philadelphia Eagles, they can clinch their spot as well with the win over the Washington Commanders. That game will be played on Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern time or 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Fox. So Philadelphia clinches NFC East Division title win with a Philadelphia win or a Dallas loss or a Philly tie and Dallas tie. But I think it's fair to say that the Philadelphia Eagles, and for the first time in a long, long time, there will be a back-to-back winner in the NFC East, and that will be crowned to the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like that's probably going to happen. Are you on that? Are you on that side of the ball there?
oh yeah, it's
And
gonna
you know what's
happen.
interesting is for the AFC, Jerry Jones came out and said that they're going to play regardless of the result on Saturday. It would be interesting to see if the boys are motivated to play. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the Cowboys look on Sunday, especially if the Eagles win. But why it's important is because who their opponent is. The Los Angeles Chargers absolutely need a win, not only to stay in the hunt for their division, but yeah, I think that's far fetched. That was a dumb statement I just made there, but they're still battling for a wild card spot. They need that win, massive win, especially against a bad team. You could say the Cowboys are a bad team, right? Next scenario is the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. They play on Saturday. That would be a fun game there at night. Man, Saturday's popping, dude. Saturday is college football and NFL football all day. What a good time. But the Chicago Bears clinch playoff berth with a Chicago win and a Detroit loss or tie, or Chicago tie and Detroit loss. Detroit, likelihood of them losing this weekend?
I don't know. I would give them like a 75% chance to win that game. I'm heavy
75.
this week. Detroit, I think they run away with it. I don't know if that Steelers defense is gonna be able to stop what's going on offensively with those guys, and I just don't know offensively if the Steelers can hang around.
Yeah,
Um,
and they're on the road too.
yeah. The big thing is that
That
the
one's
Steelers are on
good.
the
Okay.
road.
Man, I wonder what the record is on the road. And no TJ Watt, or questionable as of now, questionable. But I'm assuming likelihood is probably not going to play. That's a good matchup. That's a good one. That's a good one. Looks like that scenario is probably going to play out for one more week before that gets clinched. But hey, the Bears don't even have an easy one in front of them either. And then the Packers scenario, same thing. They clinched the playoff berth with the Green Bay Packer win or a Detroit loss, or a Green Bay Packer tie and a Detroit loss. So both of these teams are kind of hanging on Detroit losing. And then San Francisco 49ers, we've kind of already crowned them as clinching the playoff berth maybe about 4 weeks ago. But for them to actually clinch it, they need a win or a Detroit loss. Feels like San Francisco should be able to get that win against the Colts with Phillip Rivers at the helm, who has been named the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. How do you feel about the whole Phillip Rivers thing now going into his second week of playing?
Man, I mean, still, Seahawks against the Seahawks, it shouldn't have been that close. That's what I'm talking about offensively. The Seahawks just haven't been hitting like how they have
Most
been.
hit quarterback in the league, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and that offensive line isn't really doing them no favors. Got to get more of a running game going in Seattle. So there is a little bit of question marks, but when Sam Darnold has time and that offense is clicking, there's big plays all over the field. Um, they just got to get back to
He's
that.
up, JSN, Kent Walker. It's that offensive line. Ultimately, the offensive line is
No, it
what can
is.
bust that Seattle Seahawks
There's videos of Anthony Bradford just getting absolutely destroyed, and people are making
drugged.
fun of him. They're all over the internet, all over my feed, man. Anthony Bradford might be the worst lineman in the NFL, and he still has a starting position. So um, that is definitely the issue. Why their running game is struggling, why Sam Darnold is the most hit quarterback. There's reasons why. So those are some issues that make me concerned about, like, okay, this team can win a playoff game, but how deep can they really go? Because there is some concerns that are at this point they're just not correctable, and teams are going to exploit it. If you're playing a better team, you might see it tonight. Maybe the Rams exploit it a little bit, and you're going to see it. Watch Anthony Bradford on the line. He's a guard, I think a right guard. So yeah,
All right.
just be aware of that.
Focus on the right side. Let's pay attention to it. That to me, that's the one thing that's the one knock that I've seen on the Seattle Seahawks. A defense that's absolutely buzzing. We could put that defense up there alongside with like the Denver Broncos, the Houston Texans, even the Jacksonville Jaguars. Low key sleeper defense that's just been dogging on boys, keeping Trevor Lawrence at bay. And keeping that offense alive. I think that's why the Jacksonville Jaguars have just low key been under the radar. Is that defense just keeping them in games, and then the offense is slowly starting to come along. Last week, Trevor Lawrence puts up 5 touchdowns alongside ETN's 2, 3. Man, what a game! What a game! ETN saved me. Not saved me. I killed it in fantasy, which I'll show you my fantasy team here in a little bit, JB. Maybe you can help me set my lineup. But This is the AFC clinching scenario. So Denver clinches AFC West Division title and AFC number 1 seed if Denver wins and the Chargers lose or tie, and New England loses and Buffalo loses or ties. Dang, so they could clinch the number 1 seed with the Buffalo loss and a New England loss this weekend. All right. And then Buffalo Bills clinch a playoff berth with a win and Indiana loss, or a win and a Houston loss, or a Buffalo tie, Indy loss, Houston loss. So they need Indy and Houston to lose for Buffalo to clinch the playoffs, but we're going to assume they're going to get in the playoffs, right? There's no way.
Yeah, they got to get in the playoffs. I think they will.
And New England Patriots, they're going against Baltimore Ravens on the road, Sunday Night Football. That one's going to be fun. That one's going to be fun too, depending on what Lamar shows up, right? But they get into the playoffs with a win and or Indy loss or a Houston Tire loss. So this feels also like this is going to move on for another week. But the New England getting in the playoffs, not even a question. Jacksonville clinches a playoff berth with a win and an Indy loss, or Jacksonville win and a Houston loss. Jacksonville, that's what they need. So it feels like a lot of people are riding on Indianapolis to lose. But the most important one here, I think, is the Los Angeles Chargers at Dallas Cowboys. They can clinch a playoff berth with a win and an Indy loss, or a win and a Houston loss. Yep, another team riding on Indy and Houston.
Yeah,
but Houston don't feel like they're going to lose.
I don't feel like they're going to lose. So I think this Jacksonville, I don't think they clinch this week. I think Houston can get another win. I think they can drag this thing out to possibly the end of the season. The way that they're both playing right now, maybe Jacksonville drops one in the next 3 weeks. So which makes a really interesting finish at the end of the year to see who can win that division. Houston is right there. If Houston get a
love
home
Houston.
game, yeah,
Love Houston.
and CJ Stroud is playing good. He's not playing bad.
Who would you say are have been our squads going into week 16?
For me, it's been Houston. I like Houston on the AFC side. NFC side, I find myself rooting for the Seahawks a little bit just because of Darnold, but then I always think of Darnold in the back of my mind turning into a pumpkin. So that always scares me away. Since the Vikings don't make it in the NFC, like since they're not a playoff team, I'd rather just go for Houston. I kind of like them right now.
Yeah, Houston's fun. I like Houston. My AFC squads right now is Houston and Jacksonville. It's a bit of the underdog story, so that part, a little bit of the storyline, kind of makes you buy in a little bit. But I absolutely love Houston's defense. But the only thing that concerns me, I mean, we've talked about it basically all year, is that Laramie Tunsil trade to Washington. I mean, we saw how it looked at the beginning of the season, and it feels like that offensive line is kind of getting some confidence together. So, like, will that continue? TBD. But outside of that, man, it's the potential for this Houston team with that defense. Like, let's remember, Rex Grossman got to a Super Bowl. So why not someone like CJ Stroud with an elite defense like the Houston Texans? And I mean, if you're a Denver Broncos fan, you make the same argument, right? And especially with Bo Nix, obviously we're very critical of him a couple weeks ago. And then this Sunday's game, this past Sunday, he obviously we said, hey, this is a prove it game, and he came out, showed out, balled out, and now can he do it on a consecutive basis? TBD, to be determined. We'll see this weekend, and if he does, guess what? We'll come on here on Monday morning and praise him as he should be. Bo Nix. If Bo Nix can get some solid play, man, that Denver Broncos team may just run through the entire league come playoffs time. We might have the most boring playoff season of our lives because the Denver Broncos may possibly shut everybody out and put up 21 to 24 points and win a Super Bowl. Like that's the possibility. Whenever I think of that Denver Broncos team, if Bo Nix can play at a high level consistently, I don't see anybody beating them. Honestly,
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that. But the offense has had its issues. Yeah, Bo Nix has kind of turned it around this past month, but I think they still have their issues, and I think some of these teams are going to be tough matchups for the Broncos. And like I said, it's unproven. We're still unproven with what Bo Nix can do in the big time games, in the playoff games. We've seen the comebacks this year, but still, of course, a little skeptical of just how it's going to play out. especially that whole AFC side. I mean, a lot of unknown quarterbacks so far that are making the run in the AFC. And like I said earlier, this is Josh Allen's window. And are you going to seize the opportunity at this point?
Yeah, for sure.
Because
For sure.
that's
It's
who you got to
all
go
on
through as
Josh Allen.
well.
Dude, does he? I think Josh Allen's going to have to go through them. The way the way
Maybe,
it's starting to lay out, he's probably going to
maybe.
have to go through them, especially if New England continues to win. But JB, let's take a pause on the professional world and let's move on to let's get Tim Foley's picks for the college football playoffs this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, are UNM alumni, an athlete of athletes, one of the GOATs, one of the best additions to our show, Mr. Tim Foley. Tim, what's up, brother? I love the polo.
Thank you. Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, good.
What's the patch right here?
It's a football. It's the it was the polo that they gave the New Mexico Bowl players a few years back.
Oh, that's fresh. That's a nice little golf polo right there.
It
Or
is.
day to day. Or day to day. Tim, what's up? What's going on in your world, the college football world? Are we excited? Are
Just
we juiced?
Oh yeah, really looking forward to this weekend. Obviously the biggest games of the year going on this weekend. There's a lot of bowl games that are happening right now and everything like that. But really looking forward to Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, dude. College football more alive than ever. And I'm patiently waiting on this Cinderella story that they keep telling me that's going to happen, similar to college basketball. Some are saying. What are your thoughts on JMU's chances this weekend? Is it legit, or this is similar to what boxers do, where they get a little tune-up fight before the actual fight?
Yeah, I do not believe that there's going to be a Cinderella story this year. It's just very unlikely. I do see JMU covering the spread. I don't think that Oregon is going to win. I think it's 21 and a half or 21-point favorites. I do think Oregon is going to win this game. I don't think that they'll win it by that wide of a margin, but I think that they will win this game.
And JB, do you think anything crazy is going to happen this weekend, or it's just going to be as expected?
I really think everything's going to be expected. The one game, I believe, where did I see this at? Oklahoma and Alabama. I don't believe Alabama has lost to the same team twice in one season since like 1898 or some crazy weird stat like that. That's over like 100 years. So that game's pretty interesting. That game looks like it's going to be a good, exciting game. So that's what I'm kind of interested in. I'm not really interested in the Oregon and JMU, Ole Miss and Tulane. I don't know. Yeah, those games, I just think they're gonna the juice is gonna be flowing in that first quarter, right? And then I think when the game settles down, when everybody settles down, and you start making some adjustments here and there, and the team starts firing on all cylinders, Oregon, Ole Miss, I think they run away with it. That's what I think it is.
For sure. Tim, this is whenever I saw the schedule come out for this Saturday, I was a little confused, a little shocked why Texas A&M and Miami Hurricanes are going to be at 10 a.m. Were you shocked when you saw that as well? Yeah, I would have thought that would have been the primetime game.
I would have thought that too. Whenever I'm looking at the schedule for Saturday, I believe they have I believe that they have the Tulane game on at the same exact time as some of the NFL games, and I think the reasoning behind that is they're kind of thinking that if either one of those games, if the college game ends up being a blowout, you can switch over to the NFL game and vice versa. I think there was kind of strategic on putting. That's why they didn't want
Makes sense.
like some of the bigger games to get overshadowed by some of those NFL games that are late in the season.
Yep.
What should we expect from that game?
From the Tulane game?
No, from Miami, Texas A&M. To me, that's kind of the game of the weekend. Or I guess you could make the argument Oklahoma, Alabama. But to me, I think this Miami game says a lot, not only as to why some teams got snubbed out. There's going to be a lot of question marks if Miami drops a dookie here. But, just they're kind of representing the ACC, huh?
Yeah, they are. They kind of squeaked in as that ACC team, and the big thing here that's going to be happening is it's going to be played at college at Kyle Field in College Station. If you have any type of home field advantage, it's going to be there at Kyle Field. They're dubbed the 12th man. I mean, it is a very crazy environment. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Miami squeaks this game out, and the only reason why is because Texas A&M's defense has not really been up to par, and that's kind of been Miami's go-to this year. Is they've had a pretty impactful offense, and I think they've had enough time to kind of game plan and go in there and do some damage. It is going to be a close game, especially in the first half with that. With the stadium rocking like that, first time hosting a college football playoff game there in College Station. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. I think Miami squeaks out. Marcel Reed is going to have a phenomenal game. I think he's going to put up numbers both in the air and on the ground for Texas A&M, but I don't think it's going to be enough to ultimately beat the Hurricanes.
Ooh, JB, you ever seen what that atmosphere looks like at Texas A&M?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was hoping you were going to say no, but
let
me show you guys anyway.
Yeah, one of the louder stadiums for sure.
Well, let's take a look at their entrance here. I saw this morning. And I was like, "Oh, I gotta go with Texas A&M. This is crazy." Just the home field. I feel like home field in college football is at least 3.5 points. Let's check this out.
Miss 12th man implored to make a difference. 80,000 were here for a yell practice. It was not at midnight. It was in the afternoon. Traditions and the vibe they create, absolutely unique in sports. Incredible rebuilding job in year one for Mike Elko.
Man, that gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, dude, that thing makes me want to fucking run through a brick wall right now, dude. Jeez. Yeah, that's an entrance right there.
And it's
10 a.m. start.
And it's going to be a pretty impactful game. I believe Pat McAfee's show is going to be on the field doing their own calling. Right. For those of you that are unaware, there's all the students at Texas A&M, they show up at midnight the night before in the stadium working on those chants. It's a thing. They call it the midnight howl. They're all there at midnight the night before, getting everyone on sync to what chants are going to be done. Like, it is a full-fledged operation there to have it become a home field advantage. And that's not just for this game. They do that every game over there.
Yo, the place is a cult. They weren't joking whenever they called it a cult. Texas A&M, what's your thing here? Is this what we do for them, or that's Texas Tech? Huh? What do the Aggies do?
I think it's I'm not exactly sure what Texas A&M's deal is, but they are dubbed the 12th man.
That's cool. It gives me the Seattle Seahawks feel. Whenever the Legion of Boom was there, man, whenever you see that, it's hard to root against them, huh?
It is. Like you were saying, home field advantage is a huge thing, especially in college football. I mean, you kind of have it in the NFL in some places, but there's some NFL games where I'm sure you guys would know more than me, but there's some NFL games where a home team is playing at home and there's more away fans there. So I mean, there is a dynamic.
Don't do it. Shh, don't say it.
Dallas, dude. Yeah, a lot of purple last weekend.
But you do not get that in college football. I mean, when you're playing I feel like college football has more of a home field advantage type feel than any other sports. I mean, the largest stadiums in North America are college football stadiums, and they get rocking and they show up, and it is more of a cult like following because I mean, it's a new team every 3 or 4 years. Nowadays, it's a new team every single year. So you kind of get up every year thinking this is our year, kind of like the Cowboys fans. So it's a phenomenal atmosphere. It makes it hard to pick against them, especially when they are 3.5 point favorites. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to defend Miami's offense, and I don't think that they're going to be able to do that. If Texas A&M does squeak this out, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be each team in the 30s.
Oof. So your pick. I mean, you're kind of giving it without giving it here. So you're going with the Hurricanes to
I'm
win this
going.
game.
I am. I'm going with Miami to win this football game.
JB, who are you taking?
I think for me, man, it's hard to root against the home team like that. But kind of what Tim's saying, that offense sounds like it's hard to stop, for Texas A&M. And man, I know Carson Beck. He was one of those guys that we were early Heisman favorites. We had him high on our list. So I think I'd go with Miami. I think the Miami offensive power might just be too much, and where you see a good offensive team kind of dominate is late in games too. That end of third quarter, fourth quarter, they start getting some momentum, and if that happens, I don't see why Miami would lose. I think when Miami, I think the only thing that can kind of stop them is if you kind of beat yourself at that point. Drop passes, mistakes, flags, turnovers, things like that. So give me Miami too.
I'm gonna ride with the home team, and it's solely just on field. That was seeing what the atmosphere is going to look like with the game. That's really a coin toss. Like Tim said, Texas A&M being favorites at 3.5 points. Like Vegas knows something, right? They got to know something. So I'm gonna ride with Vegas, and I'm gonna take Texas A&M. The other game here, Tim, will be the night game, Alabama versus Oklahoma. What is that game? What should we look for in that game, or who should we look for to perform in that game?
Yeah, so this is a really, really big game. This is going to be the only Friday slot game. It's going to be, I think kickoff is like 8 o'clock Eastern time on Friday. It's going to be a rematch. Oklahoma went in to Alabama at Alabama and got that win a few weeks ago. It is going to be very hard. It's very hard to beat a team like Alabama, let alone twice in the same year. Kind of what Borba was saying. It's going to be very difficult. Ty Simpson, especially they're coming off of that SEC loss where they kind of did not perform anywhere near what they were expected to. I do not think that Oklahoma, even though it's the same type of ordeal, they're hosting this game. It's going to be rocking there in Norman, but I don't think that they're going to be able to put together the type of football game that they did a few weeks ago again. I think that Alabama squeaks this one out. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a hard fought game. John Mateer is going to be able to put up some numbers. I'm hoping that he plays kind of like he did in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season before he broke his hand. But we really look for John Mateer to be able to come out and be a game changer. I'm really hoping Ty Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama, comes out and shows out. He really did not. He did not play like we've seen him play the whole season, the last game of the year against Georgia in that SEC championship game. But I do think Alabama comes out and wins this football game in Norman.
Alabama's coach has been tied quite a bit to the Michigan job. I saw on TV this morning a lot of folks saying that if Alabama does lose this game, watch out. It might get loud of him going over to Michigan. What have you heard out of Alabama on him? I know he came out and said that he was going to stay, but it seems like people keep circulating that rumor. You think he's going to stay at Alabama or make a move?
I think he's going to stay at Alabama. I think the best thing for his career would probably be to go to Michigan. He's always going to be living in Saban's shadow there in Alabama, and I think any coach is going to be, frankly. And the thing is that would be really crazy and would kind of just put a bow on this season. If at the end of the season, if DeBoer does go and take that Michigan job, that leaves the Alabama job open. A lot of people are thinking that Lane Kiffin jumps ship before he even plays a game at LSU in total Kiffin fashion and would go be the coach at Alabama.
Could you imagine? That would be crazy. At that point, I mean, if you're Lane Kiffin, you wouldn't make that move. Just optically, talk about what were they saying about him? Can't turn a hoe into a housewife. If he made that move, that statement would be all over everything. New York Times, college football, ESPN, everything. That'd be insane.
Yeah.
Tim, I don't want to be disrespectful to these schools. Oh, go ahead.
I would say let me be honest. If that were to happen, if that hits the headlines, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
No, not at all.
Lane, no, Lane Kiffin does some crazy exits every time he leaves the school. He never does it properly, and he always has a lot of fan bases hate him for that. So it would just be another notch in his belt.
Just be Lane Kiffin football. That's Lane Kiffin football. Yeah, I don't want to be disrespectful to these other schools, these small schools, JMU and Tulane. I mean, what? Uh, 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 is there a chance?
For the Tulane game, I mean, for Tulane and Ole Miss, the chance that they do have is we have not seen Ole Miss put a product on the field without Lane Kiffin, and then there's been a lot of off the field stuff that's been happening, and it's been kind of been overshadowing this historic run that Ole Miss has had, and they've never had this type of season at Ole Miss. But I do think they still come out and handle Tulane pretty well. Tulane does have a lot of speed, and they are a great football team, and I expect them to put up a fight in the first half. Ole Miss is just a very, very good football team out of the SEC, and they've been tried again week after week and only have one loss, and there's something to say for that. And I love seeing this group of five schools in there. The fact that there are two in there, it's not ideal, but it's also not what everybody was wanting anyway. The card just kind of fell that way. I know Sean kind of talked about it on Tuesday. I mean, the only reason this is happening is because the ACC kind of shit down its leg, and they had to squeak Miami in there, and then you have your conference championship, who's a 5-loss football team. I mean, if the ACC would have just put up a little bit of a fight this year, then I don't think that James Madison would be in the mix. But because of that, they were able to squeak in there. And at the end of the day, James Madison only has one loss, and they played very well in the Sun Belt Conference this year. James Madison is a great football team. I don't think that they're going to have what it takes to beat Oregon, especially with Dan Lanning there. I mean, he has these boys set up, and they're ready to go win this football game in Oregon. But I think the biggest chance of an upset happening is going to be the Tulane Ole Miss game, only because of the off the field stuff and the distractions that are happening. And I don't think that's happening on the other side of the coin. Tulane does have a little bit of talk happening because this is going to be their coach's last few games coaching this team. So there is that, but at least they know what their future looks like, and they don't have a lot of people coming in saying like, are you going to be staying? Are you going to be leaving? I think everyone at Tulane is focused on trying to win this football game, and then they'll deal with what's going to happen after the season.
Isn't the Tulane coach? He's the two hat guy, right? Like one moment he's like giving a speech about Tulane, then the next moment he throws on
Florida Gators.
What is it, North or Florida Gators hat, and he's like, "Yep, recruiting over here," and he's like, "Oh shit, wait, I got to go back to this job." Throws on this hat, and then comes back, and he's like, "Oh shit, go Florida, I forgot." But he did give 100K to his school now, right before he leaves, so he left in good hands. Basically, has a job forever waiting for him if he ever wants to come back, but. I think I'm riding with you here too, Tim. I think all the favorites, or I think the favorites win on both of those games, and then the noise gets loud as to why these schools were in the college football playoffs to begin with. But hey, before we let you go, Tim, what are your thoughts on them expanding the college football playoffs? Like, I think we're in a perfect spot. I just think that they need to rethink on how we're going to, or what teams we're going to put in. Like if we're going to put the best teams in, then let's just go ahead and do that.
I think they should
probably force these other schools to kind of play each other in the season. But do you think it should expand? JB just said it's 16 teams.
I think 16.
What he would prefer, but what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Borba. I think the best solution to this is to have a 16-team playoff. Every year there's going to be someone who's like, let's make it a 24 team, let's make it a 32 team.
4 buys.
It's going to keep growing. But what I think it should be is it should be a 16 team, and then the last week of the season we should have like those and as well as the Army Navy game, because typically the Army Navy game is going to be the only game played that week, which I know it's symbolic and people love to like keep that history intact. But if on that last week after that game, if we had like 2 playoff games, like imagine if Vanderbilt and Texas got to play a game after the Army Navy game, and the winner of that got to go into the college football playoff, just something cool like that. If we do have 16 teams this year, I feel like there's going to be a lot less griping. We would have the Texas, the Vanderbilts. We would have those schools that people are missing that at the Notre Dames that we wanted to see in the college football playoff, they would be in it with a 16-team team. The only thing is there's always going to be those 2 teams that are left out that everyone wanted to see play. But if you have 16 teams in there, you have a good mix of schools that should be in there, schools that you kind of want that Cinderella story, and schools that like kind of squeaked in that could win on any given Saturday. So I think the ultimate goal would be a 16-team playoff. The FCS playoffs have been, I believe, 16-team playoff. They've been doing it for multiple years, so it's been done before. It is unfortunate. We would probably have to add another game to the schedule to be able to do something like that, or we remove a game.
We're just a play-in.
Yeah.
Whenever they have the conference championships, just do a play-in with those 4 teams, and then if you win, you're in. If you're out, because I know this year they were making a big issue about teams playing in conference championship games and then other teams kind of having to bye, right? So like for example, what's one playoff team like Georgia, right? Georgia's not in the SEC or Georgia is in the SEC championship.
Yeah,
I guess Oklahoma, not Big 12 champions, right?
Right. Oklahoma, same with Miami. Miami got in and they didn't even play in the conference championship either. So,
Yes, they
I mean,
whole week to prepare, a whole extra
it
week to
is.
prepare, a whole extra pair. So you kind
It's
of
a whole
force them
extra
to play
week to,
too.
yeah, and you kind of, as a coach, you kind of have to look at it as, do you want to be conference champions, or are you trying to make a college football playoff run? And it's unfortunate that you kind of have to choose between the two sometimes, because there used to be such a prestige to being a conference football champ, to being the champion of your conference. There's incentives for contracts for coaches for that still to this day, but I don't know if it carries as much weight unless you're, which everyone has coveted, when you're the SEC champion, you're kind of on another pedestal. But I mean, you can be Miami, being able to be playing in the postseason like this, and not even attend your conference championship, which is crazy. And you would think that you should get that you should be not like you should get penalized a little bit if you're not good enough to play in your own conference championship. Then you that should be put into a factor when you're choosing these college football playoffs. But if you have a 16-team playoff, you're going to have multiple non-conference champions in there already. So you don't kind of have this arguing or pulling back and forth on who should be there.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I appreciate you rocking with us, man. Thank you for coming on. JB, is there anything you'd like to tell Mr. Foley?
No, man. Just looking forward to college football playoffs, man. It's going to be a good weekend. Good weekend of college football. Good weekend of NFL. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
And Tim will be back on Tuesday to break down the college football playoff week 1 matchups. Tim, we'll see you on Tuesday, brother. 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, UNM alum, Tim Foley. Tim, thank you, brother. Thank you. JB, oh, I lost track of time, my boy. Let's make these picks. JB. Let me go down the list for you here. Hold on. Let me get to it. Tonight's game, JB, the Rams versus the Seahawks on Prime TV. The Rams are minus 1.5 point favorites. The over-under sitting at 43.5 points. We kind of talked about this at the beginning of the show. Who's going to win this game?
Over under at only 43?
Yeah.
No, I'm taking the over on that.
21. Over, you think so?
On that.
Hey,
yeah, 100%.
And no Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is doubtful for the game. And Adam Schefter said this morning the likelihood is when someone is scheduled as doubtful, that means they're not going to play. That's what he said.
I think give me the Rams this one. Give me the Rams just because I think they're more complete of a football team right now. The offensive line is a little bit better. Things that we were talking about with Seattle, Sam Darnold, still don't know how he performs in big games. That's still unknown for this year. So, give me Matthew Stafford and the Rams to edge this one out.
Matthew Stafford and the Rams. I'm going to go with you on that one as well. We got this. I think this is. I said this last week, and Matthew Stafford, what did he do? He went and balled out. I think it happens again. This is a MVP game with Josh Allen just kind of running on the back of his tail, which E-Rob brought into question yesterday. Is maybe Josh Allen should be the most valuable player whenever you start comparing who has the most assets on their team, right? But
That's
I
how
think
it is.
Stafford has a chance to kind of shut that door on him.
Yeah, and I understand Earl's point for sure. He's looking at it as the most valuable player, but with Stafford, with what he's done this year, I just think there's a gap. There's a big gap right now. It's Stafford up top, a gap, and then you get Drake May and Josh Allen right under that. And I just think it's from the performance that Stafford's put on. Stafford's always played solid football, and now with these weapons, it's showing. I don't think this team is the same with a lesser quarterback on the squad. But yeah, when it comes to most valuable, of course, Josh Allen is definitely the most valuable player for his team at this moment because they're not even a playoff team if he's not on the field. They're making a top 10 pick for sure. But Stafford with just what he's done, his accolades this year and his whole resume this year has been just MVP.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford is on pace to become the 17th player since 1970 to outright lead the NFL in pass touchdowns and passer rating in a single season. 10 of those players won the season's MVP award, with the most recent being Aaron Rodgers, his COVID year, 2020. Matthew Stafford lining himself up perfectly. JB, on this game too, Sam Darnold had a career high tying 4 interceptions in his first game against the Rams this season in Week 11. The first matchup didn't go too well for Sam Darnold. The only players over the last 15 seasons to throw 4 interceptions against an opponent in one game and then defeat them later that season was no one other than Mr. Joe Burrow versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2022. And this one, maybe you forgot about this guy, Ryan Tannehill against the Houston Texans in 2021.
Wow.
So Sam Darnold, it's going to be a tough one for today. This is also a cool little stat here. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua are the only players in 2025 who average over 100 receiving yards per game. We got 2 of the most elite young wide receivers in the league on display on our TVs tonight. How awesome is that, JB? But we're both in agreement. We're going to take the Rams. Now let's move over to Philadelphia, going over to the Commanders. The Commanders have decided to shut down Jaden Daniels, and we'll ride it out with Marcus Mariota. The Eagles being 6.5-point favorites. Who do you think wins this game?
I think you got to take Philly in this one. Yeah, I'm taking Philly in this one. Second meeting might be a little bit interesting, but I'm taking Philly in this first matchup.
Yeah, this is the second one. I'm going to assume that the Eagles are going to rest players. This is the second week of the playoffs, so you start looking at your fantasy squad and you're like, damn. So I guess if you're owner of Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley or A.J. Brown, you kind of want the Eagles to lose, so that way there's a little bit more pressure on them next week when they get into when the fantasy football championship games begin, because that would suck for them to have to sit or for them to rest, and you have them on your roster. The Packers versus the Bears, one of our favorite matchups. Packers being minus 1.5-point favorites, even without Micah Parsons. Christian Watson questionable, but was at practice yesterday. He is expected to play, along with. They got some injuries at right tackle, and I believe E-Rob told me their starting safety is also questionable for this game. JB, what are your expectations, and who's winning?
This is a tough one, but whichever quarterback, makes less mistakes at critical moments, and I'm hard on Jordan Love about that, but I don't believe in this Bear team yet. I still think they're 1 year away. But when it comes to, which team, the coaching and quarterback dynamic is huge. Right now, this Bears team is taking on Ben Johnson's culture, his philosophy, his scheme. It's hard to go against that. Man, I just hate both teams.
JB,
I'm reading this, man.
Crazy.
I don't know.
This is a crazy stat
I
for
think
Caleb
the Packers.
Williams.
I still think the Packers defense is better than the Bears defense. So
Yes,
I think that's going to be
agree.
what determines this game. So I guess just give me the Packers.
Give me the Packers. Look, check this. This is weird. This is a weird one. Caleb Williams has a 58% completion percentage in 2025, the second lowest among qualified quarterbacks in 2025, behind 9 J.J. McCarthy.
And that stat's rising up too quite a bit these last few weeks. JJ's. I got a stat for y'all when we get to the game. I got a stat for y'all. We get to the
Okay,
game.
all
And
right,
you know
all
what?
right, here
Pull
we
up.
go.
I saw when Tim was talking. You watched that gritty end zone celly to the end zone the other day. You should pull that up while I'm talking about the stat from
Oh,
JJ
okay, I
McCarthy.
got you. I
Pull that
got
up
you.
in a second
Okay,
while I
cool.
just read off this huge stat
It's a
when we get to
beautiful
it.
stat, a great
Yeah.
stat. We're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
we're
It's a
gonna
great.
we're gonna plug JJ McCarthy here. Okay, let's move on. Buccaneers versus the Panthers. The Panthers absolutely need this, but so do the Buccaneers.
Yep.
The stakes at this on this game is basically the division. Panthers being underdogs at 3 points. JB, can the Panthers get over the hump, or will the Buccaneers have another be able to go back to what they had in a bottle week 1 through 5?
Yeah.
What
I'm just not seeing it, man. I really like Panthers. You could have beat the Saints. Like they don't want it. I don't know. They're just not. I don't think
Neither
they're
of
there
them.
yet.
Neither of them.
I think the Panthers with what they're doing is great. I think they're still a year or two away. And losing to the Saints, which could have been a huge victory for them last week. Give me the Bucks, man. I just have to take the Bucks for this one.
You got the Bucks. I think I'm going to agree with you on that one as well. I think I'm going to go Bucks. They have to, man. I think this is this. If Baker Mayfield drops this game, the way that the storylines are going to absolutely turn on him, and the media is going to get back to where maybe this is the same Baker Mayfield that left the Browns. Maybe this is the
Yeah.
same Baker Mayfield in Seattle. Maybe this is. I think those conversations are going to start if they lose this game.
But
I'm going to take the Bucks back
I
against
think
the wall. Give me Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I think with one more quick thing, I think with Baker Mayfield, he's had a lot of good offensive coordinators in his corner that have helped accelerate him to this level, bring him back to a great, being a really good quarterback. And now without Liam Cohen, I think we're seeing that. And I think Baker Mayfield, I think now the formula for Baker Mayfield, he's one of those quarterbacks, same way as a Jalen Hurts, that needs a good offensive coordinator to help excel, to help bring the best out of them. And I think this year you've lost that with Liam Cohen leaving, obviously with the Eagles situation, Kevin Patullo in there. You're not seeing the best quarterback play. You got to have the right coordinators. For some of these quarterbacks, you need a very good coordinator.
Yes, sir.
For
I
those
couldn't agree
type of
with you more.
QBs.
Yeah, losing Liam Cohen. I mean, gosh, but then you look
We're
over
seeing
at
the
Jacksonville,
best
you're
of
like,
it.
yep, what a dog. What a dog. You got the Bills heading over to face Shador and the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully, Shador has the right wristband to start this game. But 10 points given to the Buffalo Bills, that's a lot. That's disrespectful. That's a smack in the mouth
There's a lot.
to the Cleveland Browns, especially at home. If you're the Bills, you absolutely cannot drop this game. This is a game where you go in, get out, and come out as healthy as possible. Josh Allen cannot put on the cape. This has to be a James Cook game. This has to be a James Cook game. James Cook, they're paid you for a reason. Now go out there and win them a game and get this team out of a game that doesn't matter really. Um, get out of it healthy. Get out of it healthy. I think that's the most important thing for the Bills in this game. I'm taking the Bills. Who you got?
Give me the Bills. Outdoor weather team, cold weather. This is a good game for the Bills to just
This is
win.
Bill for that Wyoming quarterback, Josh Allen, MVP type. This is a good game to stat those pads, those
Stat
pads,
those pads.
stats just
Yes.
a little bit. Yo,
Stat those pads, baby.
stack those
Pad
pads.
those stats, dude.
Chargers got a lot at stake. Playoff contention going over to Jerry's World AT&T Stadium.
Ooh.
The Dallas Cowboys are favorites, which is
Ooh.
wow, 1.5-point favorites for the Dallas Cowboys. We've asked a bunch of questions about Justin Herbert's offensive line. Will that be able to hold against a shite defense in the Dallas Cowboys? Who you got? That's first time this year that I'm going to go against the Cowboys. I'm going to go with the Chargers to win this game.
I think I do go with the Chargers too on this one. I think it might be a
I
little
don't
bit
understand
closer.
how they're not favorites.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit closer than expected. But I think the Chargers, they have a lot more on the line. They should win.
They should. They should. They should. But hey, boys, we might be out. Let's spoil somebody's night. And why not the Chargers?
That might
Why
be
not a
it.
team that has everything at stake? Because if this Chargers team loses, it's gonna get scary. It's gonna get scary for their playoff hopes. All right, next game we got the Jets versus the Saints. A battle of drafting position. I'm gonna take the Saints. They're on a bit of a run here with Mo. What's his name? Kellen Moore. Kelly Moe.
Yeah. I would go with the Saints too. Tyler Shout.
Back to back,
He's
big
been playing
wins
good.
back to back.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty decent. So, yeah, give me the Saints in this one.
All right, me as well. Chiefs Titans.
Titans.
Go ahead, go off, Mr. Ward.
Broken, battered Chiefs. They're tired. They want to get over the season. You lose Mahomes. You're out of the playoffs for the first time in 7-8 years. Let's go home, boys. Let's enjoy our Christmas. Let's enjoy
new heights.
Yeah, let's
tune
enjoy
into the pod
holidays.
and let's enjoy the Kelsey
Give me the
brothers on
Titans,
new
man.
heights.
What's the spread on this? Are they picking Kansas City to win still?
Yeah, the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites on the road.
Maybe put in a little bet for the Titans to cover that.
I like it. I mean, let's not forget the Titans stink. So there's a reason that they're 3.5-point favorite or underdogs. You got the Bengals and the Dolphins. The Bengals and the Dolphins. I'm going to take Joe Burrow, especially after being depressed this past week. So sad. Sad Joe. Boohoo Joe, or Boohoo Burrow is what some people are calling him. Give me the Bengals to win that game.
Yeah, I think the Bengals do win. Hopefully Quinn Ewers doesn't ruin Achane, because I need him in fantasy this year. So feed him, throw the ball to him, run the ball with him, do everything with him. So please just don't do that. And it's a good game for Quinn Ewers to start because of the Bengals' awful defense. So maybe he won't be that bad. But I'll still take the Bengals.
You're playing for the future, baby. You're playing with house money. You are playing with house money. Quinn Ewers, former Texas Longhorn. So good luck to him. Falcons heading over to Arizona to face the Cardinals. I'm going to take Kirk Cousins. I've been watching a lot of Kirk Cousins interviews, and man, how do you not like him? How do you not root for a guy like him? Give me Kirko.
I like the Falcons in this one, but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back this week too. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think give me Bijan, Kyle Pitts. Hopefully Kyle Pitts has another good game. And,
yes, please. I need him.
And give me the Falcons to edge it out barely.
Barely. I like it. All right, next game we have. Jaguars. You talked about this earlier. Jaguars heading over to Denver against Bo Nix. They got their -3 favorites with over under of 45.5 points. It feels like it's going to be a defensive game. I actually do think this is going to be a low scoring game. I'm thinking maybe somewhere along the lines of 20-17. And I'm going to have to stick with the home team here. I love Jacksonville. I love what they're doing. I want them to win. I'm rooting for them. But it's hard for me to disrespect Bo Nix yet again after what he did last week in a prove it game. And I know we could title this as another prove it game. Can he do it consistently? I'm gonna go on and say that Bo Nix does duplicate what he did last week against this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. It's gonna be tough though. Gonna be tough.
Yeah. This game, I mean, if our theory is right and Bo Nix has kind of turned the corner, and this is another big game, Bo Nix needs to perform, and they need to open up the playbook for him. He needs to take some shots, some deep shots, some intermediate shots to Courtland Sutton. Troy Franklin has come along these past few weeks too. So we need to see that keep going, and Bo Nix does have to play good for this team to win. So I no more of this talk. We took the training wheels off Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix, okay, you got to prove yourself now. We're in playoff mode. You're playing for the number 1 seed. This is your championship run in the AFC, Bo Nix.
Yes, it is.
Are you going to disappoint us, or are you going to pull through, turn into that?
Bo Nix. JB, Bo Nix has won 22 games with 7,031 passing yards and 52 touchdown passes in his career. That's 2 years, 2-year career. Hall of Famer Dan Marino is the only other quarterback in NFL history to win at least 20 games and have at least 7,000 passing yards and 50 touchdown passes in their first 2 seasons. I don't want to get out of hand here, but we're having him in the same conversation with Dan Marino. What a beautiful gift that is. The Jaguars are 6-1 since their Week 9 bye week, which is tied for the second best record in the NFL in that span. You want to know the only other team that has a better record than him or than them?
Broncos.
That would be the team that they're facing. Yep, the Denver Broncos since week 9, 6-0. This is going to be a hell of a game. This feels like playoff football already. I'm going to take the Broncos, though, but I don't either team. I would prefer the Jaguars because I love the story, but it feels like Bo Nix may be stirring up something that a lot of us have been waiting for. All right, JB, let's zoom through this real quick, man. Let's go Steelers, Lions.
Lions.
Dang, they're 7-point favorites. The Lions are.
Yeah, I just think their offense is going to be too hard to stop right now. Their offense has really been clicking. Yeah, they've ran into a speed bump with the Rams, but the Rams are just putting up more points. 41-34, I think, was that score.
And then, sorry, JB, last 3 games so we can send off these folks to work. We got the Raiders versus Texans.
Texans, shutout.
Easy. Patriots versus Ravens on Sunday Night Football.
Patriots?
Yep, I'm going with you as well. I'm going Texans and Patriots. And then JB, to end the show, what was that?
I think it's going to be close.
That Sunday Night Football game?
Yeah.
Shoot, it better be. We're going to stay up late for it. I'm not sure who this is, but what's going on? We're talking sports, baby. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Borba. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. JB, before we go, let's talk about this real quick.
Yes, sir.
We got this game where Chris Carter came out and criticized your boy.
McCarthy, the keeper, the walk-in.
Supposedly he was told not to do that.
Who cares?
A little nasty right there, says Chris Collinsworth. What does Hall of Famer Chris Carter have to say? 8-time Pro Bowl wide receiver. We can subscribe to Fully Loaded Podcast. Great to see you. I had to start with that. What did you think?
These Michigan guys. That's what I thought.
Well, listen, Coach said not to do it. Coach apparently, allegedly, reportedly told JJ not to do the gritty, which made him only want to do it more. Is it the right move to find Coach like that?
To me, that's not what KOC wants from his quarterback. Like that alternate personality, number 9. All
See,
that
this
no
is
one's ever won in the
disappointing
NFL
from
game.
Chris Carter.
So, to me, he acts like a kid. He's played like a kid. We're stuck with the kid until next year.
We're stuck with the kid.
See, this is where it's disappointing for Chris Carter. I think his first season in the NFL, he had like 8 catches for 50 yards. This kid's 22 years old. JJ McCarthy's 22 years old. I don't know. He's acting like a kid. Yeah, he's 22. That's why he's acting like a kid. Like, bro, okay, let me read this. First of all, what have we said about, all these alter egos in the NFL? They call Justin Jefferson Jettas. No one's bats an eye. But when it's 9, all he said was 9, yeah, I call it 9. Like, that's the same thing as Justin Jefferson saying, yeah, they call me Jettas. Like, it's the same thing. This is just, McCarthy is going to be one of the most hated quarterbacks in the NFL. If he actually turns out good, let me read the stat for you. It's a mind-blowing stat real quick, and then we'll get off. We got a minute left.
All right.
PFF came out with this called a big-time throw back in 2006. Big-time throws. And it's a big-time throw is best described as a pass with high difficulty, excellent ball location, timing, generally thrown further down the field or into a tighter window or in the face of pressure. Generally the top of the big-time throws leaderboard every year is a who's list of the best QBs in the world. For example, 2024, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. 2023, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford. 2021, you had Aaron Rodgers in there again. 2022, Aaron Rodgers. 2015, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Carson Palmer. 2006, when the stat first came out, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Carson Palmer. This season, Matthew Stafford is tied for the NFL lead in big-time throws at 7.2% of his throws are classified as big-time throws. Guess who's in second place with big-time throw percentage?
Do tell.
JJ 9 McCarthy. Okay? And we've seen it. This guy likes to make the big-time throws. Everything else just has to come together. Like, everybody's classifying this guy as a joke, immature, 22 years old, blah, 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 9. You know what, dude? Take 9 and run with it, baby. Because I think not only does he have a good chance of starting next year, he's got a good chance of being a legit starting quarterback, I think, in the NFL. And we've seen it. What were we saying about Caleb Williams? Oh, Caleb Williams, number 1 overall pick last year. Look at it. This guy is inaccurate, holds on to the ball way too long. All these guys had struggles. Bo Nix didn't throw a passing touchdown until his 5th starting game. Bo Nix has Bo Nix didn't even, like I said, JJ McCarthy, he's thrown 11 touchdowns, obviously 11 interceptions. There's another stat on him. I can't remember it. Maybe I'll save it for next week. I got to find it, but there's some stats out here that prove JJ McCarthy is he might be turning the corner. So, and I think this week is a great matchup with the Giants, another lesser defense in the secondary, where I think you can take advantage of again. And hopefully, I think the biggest learning curve I think JJ McCarthy needs to learn is how to find your all-star, superstar, all-pro wide receiver. Once he can learn how to do that and read these double-team coverages and find out where the timing is of when he will get open on these routes and just the concepts of the offense in general, I think these guys take off. I think they take off, and watch out next year. As long as this guy can keep building this year, it's going to be interesting to see.
Oh, I love it, JB. What a take. Chris Carter. Oh, back at you,
I don't know,
buddy.
man. Chris Carter, that's
What
a lot of...
JB
It just sounds like he hates him. It sounds like he hates him.
What JB just said there is, hey, relax, guys. Let's have a little patience. Let's remember that this is a first-year quarterback. Let's remember that you guys put those expectations on him because of what you saw from Sam Darnold the year before. We got to chill. We got to let this guy progress. We got to let him develop. We got to believe that KOC is the quarterback guru that we've been told that he is. So, for Minnesota Vikings fan, the future somewhat looks bright. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys rocking with us. We'll be back on Monday for Overreaction to react to the Week 16 games that were and the college football games that happened. I appreciate you guys rocking with us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We love you. We appreciate you. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS. See ya. All right, boys. I gotta go. I'll see y'all later.
Gotta go too.